Today, we are diving deep into one of Africa's most fascinating foreign policy tools, Nigeria's Technical Aid Corps. Seriously, it's an incredible story about influence, diplomacy, and the very subtle art of soft power. So, let's get into it.
I mean, think about it for a second. How do you actually do that? The news is always full of military power, economic threats, but behind the scenes, there's a whole other game being played. It's a game of attraction, of persuasion.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll break down what soft power even means. Then we'll look at Nigeria's really smart approach with its Technical Aid Corps. We'll check out the real-world results, the good and the bad, and then we'll zoom out and ask, what does this all mean for global politics?
All right, first things first. Before we can talk about Nigeria's program, we've got to get on the same page about this core concept. What in the world is soft power? Well, at its heart, it's about making other countries want what you want. You're not forcing them, you're attracting them. Think about the global appeal of Hollywood films or the massive influence of K-pop. That's soft power in action. The guy who came up with the term, political scientist Joseph Nye, said it comes from three main things: a country's culture, its political values, and its foreign policies.
And this is where you can really see the difference. Hard power is all about the stick and the carrot, right? It's military force, it's economic sanctions, it's about compelling others to do something. But soft power, that's totally different. Its tools are culture, values, diplomacy. The goal isn't to force anyone, but to get them on your team willingly, to co-opt them.
Which brings us right to Nigeria. Back in the 1980s, Nigeria decided, hey, we need to be strategic about this, about building that kind of attractive influence. And that's what led to the creation of the Technical Aid Corps, or TAC.
See, before the TAC came along, Nigeria's foreign aid was pretty much just cash donations. And as you can imagine, that system was messy, inefficient, and it was really hard to tell what impact, if any, it was having. Something had to change.
And this quote from the founder, Bolaji Akinyemi, just nails the vision. He didn't want to just send money. He wanted to send people, Nigerian professionals, to go out and share their skills. The whole idea was to completely flip the script on the global perception of Nigeria and, really, of Africa as a whole.
And look, this wasn't some random, half-baked idea. The TAC had a very clear, structured plan. It was about sharing Nigerian expertise where it was actually needed, building real relationships, and crucially, connecting young professionals across different countries. Okay, so that was the ambitious plan, but did it actually work? Well, when you look at the numbers, you start to get a sense of just how big this thing became.
Get this, between 1987 and 2018, Nigeria sent out over 8,000 professional volunteers. And we're not just talking about anybody. We're talking about doctors, teachers, engineers, lawyers, all heading out to work in other developing nations.
And you can see here, this wasn't a scattergun approach. Countries like the Gambia and Uganda, they really needed help building up their health and education systems. Others, like Sierra Leone, were trying to rebuild their entire judicial system after a conflict. Nigeria sent the right professionals to meet those very specific needs.
But it's not just about the stats. The impact was felt right at the very top. I mean, this quote from the founding president of Seychelles, wow. It just goes to show you the massive amount of goodwill this program was creating. It was building real friendships between nations.
But let's be real, no foreign policy tool is ever perfect, right? For all the incredible success in building goodwill, the TAC has definitely run into its own share of pretty serious challenges.
And this right here is the million-dollar question for any soft power project. It's great to have friends, but do those friends have your back when it really counts? The evidence, well, it suggests things are a bit complicated.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Just look at the 2017 African Union elections. In a bunch of these key races, countries that had gotten hundreds of TAC volunteers, like the Gambia and Uganda, they didn't end up voting for the Nigerian candidates. It's a pretty stark reminder that goodwill doesn't automatically equal political backing.
And on top of that, the program has some serious internal hurdles. You've got political pressure that sometimes means less qualified people get chosen, which, hurts the program's reputation. Funding can be a real problem, with delays in payments that hit the morale of the volunteers. And then there's a big one, language. A lack of French speakers limits how effective the program can be with Nigeria's own neighbors.
So, okay, we've seen the successes, we've seen the setbacks. Let's zoom out one last time. Why does this program still matter so much? What's the big takeaway from Nigeria's 3-decade experiment in soft power? Well, the TAC is this amazing model of something called South-South cooperation. And this is a huge deal. For so long, the model was aid flowing from rich northern countries down to the developing South. This program completely flips that. It shows that nations in the global south can, and do, help each other by sharing real, practical, hard-won expertise.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. Nigeria's Technical Aid Corps proves that you can build influence not with guns, but with people, with teachers and doctors and engineers. It shows that sharing what you know can be one of the most powerful diplomatic moves you can make. So when you look at our world today, with all its challenges, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is investing in attraction and persuasion, not coercion, the smartest way forward after all?